turn it off. He's got too much going on to watch the thing.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Hi, guys. We are your BlueLine Group with your BlueLine Weiss Roll Call podcast. I'm Shannon Gilbert with Emerge Real Estate.
I'm Jamie Wright with Wright Dalbo Insurance.
I'm Amy Lewis with Priority Mortgage.
And we are coming to you live from LEPD Firearm and Range on Bethel Road right here in Columbus, Ohio.
And for those of you that don't know who we are a dedicated team of law enforcement families specializing in real estate, financial, and insurance services, fervent about creating ongoing professional relationships and giving back to our first responder families. Dun, dun.
Yeah. We did it. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Sorry for the technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
and Jamie,
earlier.
we have a guest, and Jamie's
Yep.
going to introduce our special
Let's
guest.
talk about our guest. We're excited to have her.
So, today we welcome my very dear friend, Keely Calvert.
Hello,
Woo!
everyone.
I brought her all the way from Newark this morning. So, everybody welcome her. Not only is she a dear friend of mine, not only is she on my doTERRA team, not only do our children go to school together, not only, let's see, what else? We will be on the Young Leaders of Licking County together. What else do we do together, Keely?
We do numerous volunteers
work
at
out
our children's
together.
school.
We
work out
volunteer together.
That's kind of like an open question. I'm just saying. I mean,
I just signed you up to do trunk or treat with me for the
Yes.
school.
Yeah, PTA. But Keely is also an Arbonne rep, so I really wanted to have her on today to discuss the product. But Keely is also the child of a legend, if you will,
Yes. A police legend.
Yes, with the Newark police department. Dad's retired though.
Yes.
So I really wanted to have her on to kind of explain that side of the street because we are only on this side that we have the children. So being a child of for all of your life, I mean, he was
My whole life.
her whole life. So I thought that would be a really good one for us to
different perspective
to kind of bring home to our children.
absolutely.
So welcome.
Yes, thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a busy week, though.
Yes, it has been a busy week.
How has anybody done anything fun or done anything honoring for Police Week? I was trying to get that word out, honoring, because I want to make sure that I did say it the right way, honoring. But
I know it is a kind
and
of a
then-
difficult week because it's
yeah.
like
Well, and it was Mother's Day too.
Yeah.
very true.
It's been a very busy week. I, for one, have been super busy. I delivered cookies to my hubby's sub for that unit. And then I did a little tour in Licking County. So shout out to the Heath Police Department and the Newark Police Department. Thank you so much for all of your service to our community. We thank you. So it was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun to get out there. And
Mother's Day. Did you guys do anything exciting?
Definitely. So I obviously live in Pickerington, so I gave the Pickerington PD cookies.
Did you?
Same cookies, girl. And then
Jen's cookies?
Yes.
Oh, shout out to our friend Jennifer.
Yes.
Summer's cookies.
That's right. And then Friday, Roosters is teaming up with me, and we're gonna deliver all three chefs' food.
Oh, I love that.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome.
Very
So
nice.
shout out to Roosters for teaming up.
Yep.
We might have to hit out to Pickerington on
It's
Friday.
on Friday.
Yeah. Seriously.
Get some free food.
And I actually have it's a crazy busy day for me, so I have like an officer from each shift picking it up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I know.
See, but I work for food, so
Yeah.
free food. You can't beat that, right?
Not too
Right.
proud.
Especially Roosters.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
So how was Mama's Day for everybody?
Uneventful.
That's exciting to talk about.
Yeah. I was a single mom for half the day. We didn't really go anywhere to do anything. I had one that was a little under the weather and another one who had a lot of stuff going on. But one of mine children made me three really nice homemade gifts. I got like a whole book with pictures and poems and words and descriptions, and everything was very nice actually as a keepsake. It is a book.
Was it
So
Reese?
that was really nice.
Yeah, she's so cute.
And she made me this nice necklace, and it has a heart. She made it out of wire, and it's got a heart, and the heart's kind of about that big. But then with pink wires, she made like the heartbeat through the middle of it.
Oh, I thought when you said she made me this necklace,
Oh,
it
not
was
this
actually
one.
that
Sorry.
necklace.
I just went like this because my necklace sits here. No, she didn't make this one. No, but
Like
she did make
she's
a
going to
homemade
make us one of those.
I know.
I know, right? She's just going business for herself. But it was really nice. So
Aw. So did you have a fun Mother's Day?
I was not a single mother because my husband does sales, so he was actually home. And we still didn't do too much. I think it was wasn't kind of a crappy day. It was like raining or something.
It was gloomy.
I don't know. I was inside all
gloomy.
day.
Yeah, it was gloomy.
I don't know. We had planted our flowers and stuff the day before. I think
Oh,
my
yeah, it
husband
was.
did some yard work, and we pretty much just like watched movies. I have young, like Jamie, young children. So we have 16, 6, and 2. So there was a lot of How to Train Your Dragon 3
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So
We all know, Jamie, you were calm. You probably with your present,
Wait, what?
with your gift that you got on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
You're probably like, it's raining. I don't even care.
You know, I wish I could have partaken. Well, so we mentioned earlier, but I got a very large bottle of tequila. My husband and I have this place that we frequent in Mexico, and they introduced us to this tequila, and you can't get it anywhere. Well, he found it for me.
What?
So, yeah.
I was thinking you were going to say he bought it when you guys were in Mexico. And
No, we can't even get it there.
jeez.
So anywho.
Well, off the air, you'll have to give me some info about that.
Yeah. No,
big
but
shout out to Eddie.
but
Way
yeah,
to go, Eddie.
exactly.
That's
But-
a win.
Absolutely. I was so funny too. I wish you would have got it on video. I was like walking to like go to the laundry or something, and I like glanced over and I was like, there it is. And
My
he
best present
laughed.
ever.
It was very nice. But no, I didn't get to partake in it. So,
Can you get more of
Single
this?
mom.
This is what I want to know.
um,
Is this the only bottle that he can get his hands on?
no, we can.
You can't get more.
Yeah, it smells like
Okay.
syrup, and it tastes like magic. It's really good.
Eddie's gonna have to
Anyway.
hook me up here.
Yeah. No, but like as
Oh
as
my
we talk
gosh.
about I use this term loosely. That whole like you're single mom on the holidays kind of a thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to do things solo. But Eddie did try to get off early, but duty had called that day, so he could
Right.
not. So
Right.
sometimes
We make the best of it,
Job
but you know
comes
what?
first.
We took this on willingly. We know what we're getting into, most of us, and we just kind of roll
Just
with
happens.
it. And
Yes. Well, let's dig in, ladies. Let's
do it.
Allow our guests to explain to us.
I'm excited
all
to
their
hear some
goodies.
stories.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit first about what it's like to be the kiddo of now. Not only was he patrol.
No. He. So first of all, you have to kind of go from the beginning. When my parents got married, my dad was also a Marine. So when my parents got married, he re-enlisted and did like another 4 years, and I was born at Camp Lejeune, which is a Marine base in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So then, when that 4 years ended, they came back to Newark, and this was like 1980. There wasn't a whole lot of industry, really. A couple things to pick from, and so my dad was like, "Well, they're hiring for police officers." So he became a police officer, and he started out obviously in patrol. So I don't think my mom knew what she was getting
Right.
into at all. And then he did patrol for like 4 or 5 years, and then he did it was like Vice before it was Vice, like investigated robberies and burglaries and different things like that, and then he did undercover narcotics for like 4 or 5 years, like undercover narcotics, like long hair,
Beards, yeah.
yeah. Drove like an Oldsmobile 88, like a 1977. Had bench
Interesting
seats
stories.
in it. Yeah.
He probably has.
Leather.
He never had a schedule. Like we never knew when he was going to be home or when he wasn't going to be home. We never knew, like, is he going to be here for this holiday or not? Like, he didn't really have a set schedule. It just kind of depended on what was going on, like where he was in an investigation.
Have you guys ever
or
been
what-
out somewhere when he was undercover and somebody recognized him?
No. So I was younger, so I don't remember a lot of it, but he missed out on a lot. Like, I remember I danced competitively until I was like in high school, and we had to go to like a nationals every year, and like every year he'd be like in the middle of something and couldn't go. So he missed so many dance competitions. He missed, so many dance recitals and softball games and stuff like that, just because, you never knew kind of what was going on. So after about 5 years, he kind of helped orchestrate the beginning of like the drug task force now that does like Licking County, Franklin County, Muskingum County. He helped, kind of get that moving. He started SWAT in Newark. They didn't have that.
Isn't that crazy?
until-
He
Yeah.
started SWAT. That is
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, they didn't have that until he started that. So then after narcotics, he did homicide for many years. He was a homicide detective. And he also became their polygraphist and their sketch artist, so he was their composite artist as well, which he
Wow.
still does fill in when they need somebody every now and again.
Well, he just does a little bit of everything.
Right, right.
He's
So,
very talented.
well, you know, it was Newark is we used to be kind of a smaller place. Now it's about 50,000 people. So back in the day, they didn't have those resources, and he would go to other police departments, like through different task force, and be like, well, they've got this and they've got this, and we need this, and so he kind of started those things. And so he went to polygraph school, which was in New York, and I remember he'd be gone for like a month at a time to do that,
Wow.
or several weeks. And I have a brother that's younger than me, and my mom pretty much between my mom and my grandma, like my mom worked full time too, so my grandma was there a lot. But it was weird. Sometimes you'd come home and he'd be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know.
It's kind of like a surprise every day.
Right.
Oh, is he here? Is he not here?
Sometimes I'd be getting up for school in the morning, and he'd be coming home then, and he'd pick me up from school or whatever, sleep all day, pick me up. His schedule was more like a swing.
Yeah.
When he got into more homicide detective, that type, they had a more like daytime schedule. But like I said, if you're on an investigation, he was kind of one of those guys that was like, I'm gonna go talk to the source at 9 o'clock at night. I'll be home when I'm home.
Right.
And my mom just kind of like steered the ship. So
Yeah.
Your mom must be very strong, very independent.
well, I will say it is difficult. I mean, kudos to you ladies, because it's hard on a relationship. And as I grew up, I got to see a lot of that. My mom was alone a lot, like on holidays and anniversaries and things like that. And that took a toll on her for sure. But, I mean, my dad was very dedicated. So that's what he did. And then after he did homicide for a while, when he got back into his retirement years, he went back into patrol, like as a sergeant, and did that, for, I think, for like the last 5 years of his career before he retired. So
Well, that's awesome. And definitely, if he's watching, thank him
Yeah.
for his service.
Absolutely.
For
Appreciate
sure.
everything you've done.
Yes.
So, what was the most difficult part for you?
So Newark, smaller place, not as big when I was growing up as, because I'm 40. Not as big then as it is
boo-hoo.
now. Right. So so as I got older, and you start socializing and you go, I went to Catholic school, so you get out of Catholic school, you meet kids, in your neighborhood or public. Everybody knew that my dad was a policeman.
Right.
Everybody knew that. So it was very hard getting boyfriends.
Oh yeah.
Or keeping boyfriends.
Yeah.
Because your dad had a gun and he would walk around with it in the
Yeah.
house and
Or they don't
clean
invite
it,
you to parties.
yeah.
So did you have a
He had
dating
cleaned it
rule?
on purpose in his whitey
Yes.
tidies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He would
Did
spread
you
them all
have
out
a
on
d-
the dining spread them all out on the dining room table and take them apart and clean them.
Yeah. as
Watching
they
them
walk
Talk
in.
to your boy. Come in here and talk to me for a minute.
Right.
Talk to your boyfriend.
So what time
he's
you bringing her
cleaning-
home?
Cleaning his guns.
What's your intentions?
Yeah. So yeah, and I did not get it. You didn't get invited to a lot of parties. If people who didn't know you, like, would be like, well, her dad's a police. I
Yeah.
don't invite her.
Yeah.
Or they don't
He'll
tell
find-
you because they're afraid that your
Right.
dad is going to call, wherever town you're in
Right.
New York, and then let them know and they're going to come and
Right.
bust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, my dad was actually pretty laid back about that kind of stuff, though. He really was. Like,
So do you have any funny dating stories? Did he scare anybody away? Did you have any rules for dating?
Are you asking for
Yeah,
personal reasons?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my dad
I'm-
used to take
I'm
everybody
vested.
shooting. That was his thing. Like he'd be like, "Hey, want to go to the range with me?
Yeah.
I'll take you to the range. Let's go." So he would take him to the range, and then he would pull out like this arsenal
Yeah.
and show him like what a good shot he was, because he was a he was in the Marine Corps, he was a sharpshooter, and tell him just stuff to scare him, like, well, I can shoot somebody's eye out.
Oh my gosh.
From
500 yards exactly.
So do they break up with you or do they stay?
No, and I actually I had one serious boyfriend in high school, and he had an appointment to the Air Force Academy, and apparently my dad's reach was long, because he went to the Air Force Academy, gets off the bus like day one, and this guy comes up to him and he's like, "So, do you know Keely Mason?" That was my name. That was
Yeah.
my maiden name, and he was like, "Oh my God, your dad knows these guys at the Air Force Academy. They're gonna make my life miserable." Yeah. No, they, and they didn't, but yeah, that was the first thing he heard when he got off the bus. So
That's too funny.
Yeah. He was just making sure because you're dating at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
right, and like I had a party once. I was in college, and I had a party once, and somebody shot off a firecracker, like a big one, and I had an elderly neighbor behind us, and she thought it was a gunshot. And my parents were out of town on vacation.
Busted.
Yeah, and she called the police, and told him the address, and it goes over,
Oh no.
and they all know that's my dad's house, and he's out of town. So one of his patrol guys was like,
I got this.
I'll take care of it. Something's going to. So, I got a bunch of people, my parents had a pool at the time. There's like, people in the pool, there's people all over the house, and so he shows up and he's like, I remember I turned around and he's standing at the gate like, hey,
Something you want to talk about?
Right. Thanks for the invite.
what do we got going on here? And I'm like, I was mortified. And he took care of it, and we dispersed, had everybody go home, got everybody rides, and it was fine, and no big deal. But when my dad came back to work on Monday, they had that firecracker. It was sitting on his desk.
Oh, they had it.
Oh, did you get in so much trouble?
Not really,
Oh,
not
that's
really.
good.
Like, I mean, we were 21. I mean, we were all old enough.
yeah, you were in college.
we were in
Oh, I was
college.
thinking
Okay.
like high school.
No,
or-
I mean, we were 21. We were old enough, but it was just, they were out of town.
Yeah.
They didn't know I was having a
Yeah,
party.
and it was
so.
still your mom and dad's house.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a big joke that they like to joke about. I still get a lot of grief when I run into guys who worked with my dad. Like, remember when you had that party?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So is it safe to say that your nickname's Firecracker?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And
That's funny. I never thought of
you know,
that.
yeah. But my dad was great. Like, you could call, he was really good. My friends would get drunk, when we were in college and we would get real drunk, like he'd pick us up and
That's
That's a
nice.
good dad.
he'd be like, be quiet,
don't
don't
know
wake
if-
anybody up.
I can't say that everybody would do that.
Yeah.
You speaking about your hubby specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you never know what you're going to do until
He's
you're in
watching.
that situation.
He's watching,
he would,
Amy.
He would, he would rather his children be safe, and of
Well,
course,
sure.
they're never
Right.
safer than when they're with him. So
Right.
I don't know, but I think he'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this
sure.
before we move on to the product, because I do want to get to
Mm-hmm.
this. But so for Leos and LEOWs out there watching, like the takeaway for like the emotional part of being a child of, what would be like some advice or the hardest or easiest part? I mean, like how to navigate that, because dad's not there on Father's Day or
Right.
Mother's Day or Christmas, or how did
Well,
that?
I mean, my mom was always very, that's how it was. You know what I mean? She didn't try to like jazz it up or anything.
Right.
She's like, dad's got to work.
Yeah.
And
Is
I
it-
always knew, I mean, she made it clear that, there were bad guys out there, and my dad caught bad guys, and there was stuff, that he needed to do. And so it didn't really bother me. Like it would be different if he was like, out partying, but he was at work.
Yeah, it was a fact of life.
Yeah,
then.
no, so yeah, I
Right.
was going to say it was
Yeah.
way of life. It was
Right. So it was
your
just a way
norm.
of life. I mean, but I know he always tried to make up for it, like with different stuff. Like I turned 16, he bought me a brand new car.
Yeah.
Took me to the dealership, and like there was my car, like, so he did things like that to try to make up for it, which he didn't have to do, but he did. So, I mean, really, it just, like I said, my mom was just, this is how it is.
Mhm.
This is who we are. This is how it is.
And she worked too.
Yeah,
That's
full time.
Crazy.
I don't know how she
Yeah.
did
I don't
that.
know how she
Well,
did
I had my
either.
grandmas were great. I had my mom's mom. She would always be there every day after school. So she got me to dance, because I danced like 5 nights a week until I was like in high school,
Wow.
and
Right.
then I was a cheerleader.
Which is very time consuming. So yeah.
So my grandma got me to dance, and make sure I had money for food, and then I didn't come home till like 8:00 at night. So
So what about your younger brother? They just drag him with you?
so when my brother so when my brother got a little older, it was when my dad went back to patrol, so he could have a set shift, because my brother did a lot of did baseball, did a traveling baseball team, did football and different things like that, and Boy Scouts, and that's not really something moms
Right.
like my mom could handle. Dance mom, that's not really something moms could do. And my dad, he was getting older. My parents had him when they were 37.
Mhm.
So
Do you ever watch that Dance Mom shows?
yes,
And it's truly like that
It's-
behind scenes.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Crazy
That's kind of
mamas.
cutthroat.
Yeah. Like, I mean, my mom wasn't like that. She was like just happy that I'm out there. But yeah, it definitely gets
Yeah,
so
because
crazy.
mom thinks like their daughter's the best, or it's just how
Right.
it is, and so.
Well, and cheerleading's just as bad.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah. So now that you're an adult, looking back, do you ever feel like you really missed out on anything? Did you not know any different because that's
Yeah.
been your whole
I
life?
didn't know any different. Like, I have friends who are like, you know, I have a good friend, and her dad coached softball, and like her dad was like there for everything. Like,
Yeah.
and I have another friend whose dad made us like cheerleading T-shirts and designed all our stuff, and he was always there for everything. And I don't feel like I really missed out. Like that's just kind of the way it was. And my friends all loved my dad. Like he's a real dry sense of humor. He's a real funny type of guy. You know, they just knew too. Like, you know, my dad's out doing important stuff, and I mean, my dad really made a difference.
Well, and we say this all the time too, but it takes a village, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a village,
My
especially in
goodness.
this lifestyle too. Like you gotta call on your friends. And luckily, I have one that gets it.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
You're so lucky to have each other.
Yeah.
I know.
So I'm wondering, did you have any desire to go into law enforcement?
No, not at all.
Does that stem from your childhood and the lifestyle that your dad had
Well,
led because
you
of
know,
the career he chose?
Like I said, my parents were very upfront with me, and you know, my dad would tell me, you know, things that he saw or things that, you know, people that he had arrested, especially as I got older.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they might be somebody that somebody I knew, and he'd be like, you know, you remember so and so? I arrested their kid. He did this and this and this, and blah 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 blah. And I'd be like,
Did you appreciate knowing that or not?
I get, yeah, sort of, because as I got older, especially like high school age and different things like that, like there were people who kind of would like target me. Do you know
Oh,
what I
really?
mean? Like when I was in college and I went to work at a restaurant, and there was a restaurant, and they had they took guys who were on parole to like wash dishes or on probate, you know.
Yeah.
And from halfway houses, everything else like that. And there were certain guys who knew who I was because my dad had arrested them.
Oh, jeez.
So I knew, like, you know, who would try to be really nice to me, to be friends, you know, just as, you know, just.
You could see
Just
through a
to
lot
do
of
it.
people.
Right,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You can see through
So
that.
I knew to keep these people at arm's length.
Don't let them cook your food.
Right. Well, you know.
You never know what's going to be in it.
Yeah. Like
Hey,
that's
I went out on a date with Officer Mason's daughter. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
would be something, you know. So that happened as I got older. And there were a few guys my dad had arrested later on who were like, I know who your daughter, you know, I know who your daughter is. And I know, like, you know. And
your dad made you a legend too.
yeah. And so my dad would tell me, like, I arrested this guy, and he says he knows who you are. So you keep an eye out.
Yeah.
You know, stay away from A, B, and
A, B, and C.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
You know, we selectively, I don't know about you guys. Well, yours are a little bit younger, so probably not yet. But we selectively, based on what our kids we feel like they can handle, tell them certain things. And, you know, the ways of the world.
Right.
And, you know, just because someone's looking for a handout, and they say, oh, I've lost my job, I'm down on my luck, that may not be the whole story. And we do tell them stuff like that. Like, you know, some of it may be legitimate, and you don't want to turn a blind eye to someone who needs help, but it's not always that way.
Yeah, and I
so
think
we selectively tell our kids that. So, I mean, if your parents did it for you.
Yeah, my parents were very much like, you need to be very much realists.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
And I was gonna say, I think
Yeah.
that they were very brutally honest with you growing
Yes.
up, and I think that's probably why you understood that your
Right.
dad had to be gone.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with your personality now. Like, if I'm like at a level 10, I'll be like, Keely, she'll be like, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally cool.
I know.
Or we'll joke about it or something. So I think that probably obviously translated into your adulthood.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, some people probably think my parents told me too much. And maybe they did, but
I think it sounds like it worked for your family,
right.
though.
Yeah,
But they,
I agree.
but they were very real, and my parents were like, these are the risks. You know, that's one of the reasons why I was sent to Catholic school, because initially my parents aren't Catholic. Is because my dad was like, I can't have her in the public school system when I'm doing undercover narcotics, and I might be arresting somebody's parents.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
I can't have her exposed to a huge number of kids.
Are you saying those Catholic kids don't get into
No,
trouble?
that's not what he
Just
said.
kidding.
He just felt like the exposure level was
I know.
down.
Yes.
Was down.
Minimized
more,
it, yes.
Yeah. In a more controlled environment than.
Yes.
But you know, I did go to public school for a couple of years in my junior high. I didn't have any trouble. You know, but yeah.
We just never know.
Yeah, you just never know.
Yeah.
And I mean, my dad was like deep undercover, like.
Yeah.
You know.
So you mentioned you had a 16-year-old. Does
Yes.
he have talks with your
Yes,
16-year-old?
he does.
Could you imagine? Your grandpa's like a legend, and
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yes,
come here,
he
son. We got
does.
something to talk about.
Yeah.
He's
You know,
like,
and
"Oh,
I go
no."
places like when I went to this red dress benefit for the American Red Cross, and the Newark PD guys, they like hosted. They were like waiters, and they're all like,
Yeah.
They're like,
I
no,
know
you
you, girl.
don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know who you are. Your dad's you know, and I get a lot of that still because my dad's still active in the FOP and those different type of things. But but I had uncles who were also in the police force. So my dad's youngest brother was a lieutenant in Heath Police Department, and his other brother was the chief of police in Granville.
Wow.
They're all retired now, but yeah. So it was like I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Your-
no. You
your
couldn't do
dad,
anything
yeah,
wrong.
and the uncle's cleaning that gun.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I couldn't go anywhere. I'd be like,
that's fun.
"Don't speed through here." Tell my
Yeah.
friends like we're gonna pull it over,
Yeah.
and they're gonna tell my uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you
And
couldn't
it's gonna
go
be a big
anywhere. You had to come to
thing.
Columbus just
Yeah.
to get in trouble.
See,
Just
and
to get in trouble.
That's kind of the difference too between like if you get your husband's on Columbus PD, if you get pulled over or whatever.
Yeah, they don't
They
necessarily
don't
know.
necessarily know you, but in Licking County,
Yeah. They
who
know you.
are.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
And
Well-
they run your tag and they know who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Well, and my car was
You're the-
registered. I kept my car registered to my dad, the car that he bought me, until I traded in when I was like 22, because they would run the tags and it would come up under.
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I felt like that was like a little safer. Like
Yeah.
I might not.
Yeah.
Somebody's
There are
calling him.
perks.
yeah, for
Why
sure.
are you driving erratically? Are you okay, sir?
Yeah.
Did you put your FOP symbol on the?
Oh yeah. I had a FOP sticker
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's some fun things for all of you out there watching.
Yes.
But times were different back then too,
Oh,
and it
for
was a
sure.
smaller community.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's
different.
even different now. I'm sure his grandkids, I should say, are experiencing even a different world than what he did and you did.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Like I have a 16-year-old who's sophomore, getting ready to be a junior in high school, and it's completely different.
Mhm.
Any desire to follow in your father's footsteps for the 16-year-old?
So my son actually wants to go into the military. He joined the junior ROTC at Newark High School, and he plans on doing ROTC for college. He wants to be an Air Force doctor.
Oh,
So
jeez.
Oh
yeah.
wow,
Mhm.
great ambition.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'm sure your dad will be calling the Air Force now. I got
Yeah.
another one
He,
coming.
he gets that from his mom.
Well,
she does a whole
they
lot.
go over his plan, They go over his plan, and my dad's like, "Oh, it's a good plan. You
Yeah.
can do this. You can do this."
So your son's gonna walk off the bus and they're gonna go right to
Yeah.
him, like,
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Well, he wants to go to his goal is to go to OU to medical school and do the ROTC program there through OU, and then
Yeah.
it's paid for.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you go to medical school through the Air Force, and hopefully get to be stationed somewhere like Wright Pat, close where you can do his medical residency or something. Like
Either
that.
way, it'll
So-
be a fantastic adventure for him.
yes.
I mean, best to him. I hope it
So
goes
he
well.
started out wanting to be a field medic, and my dad was like, "You have him watch Black Hawk Down. Let him see if he wants to still be a field medic after that." So he watched that, and he was like, "I don't know if that's quite for me, but
Yeah.
I do want to do medicine, but I don't know if I
Mhm.
can."
Well, it takes a special person either way.
Yeah.
Yes. We hope you join us for our next show.
Yeah.
'Cause then she's going to
We're
talk
talking about product next show.
Right.
other business. I'm so excited. She gave us goodie bags, and we haven't revealed it yet, and I'm excited.
I know. I can't wait to see what's in
here.
it.
Yeah, so you have to tune in.
Yes, that will be next week. So she's going to join
Yes.
us. So
And
tune
thanks
in.
for having me.
You
Yeah.
are welcome. Thanks for joining us and telling us all those wonderful stories. And again,
Yeah.
thank your dad for his service. Thank your uncles.
Yes. And
Thank your
absolutely what I
son.
can say to tell your kids is just, try to be as direct as you can.
Well, I might
It does
it
help.
accidentally slipped the other day that Eddie had a dead body in a dumpster. And he was like, "Hey, how was that dead body?" And I was like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
Not yet.
They absorb more than you think.
Yeah,
Yes.
couple more years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to ask our friend Keely any questions and then tune in next week to learn more about what she's going to talk to us about next week, it's going to be super excited. So if you have any questions for that, you can reach us on our by email, BlueLineGroupOfOhio@gmail.com, or comment to us on our Facebook page. We're coming to you live from the LEPD Facebook page, so you can comment on there. And then our Facebook page is Blue Line Real Estate Services Central Ohio.
Yes, yes. And again, we are your Blue Line Group with your Blue Line Wife's Roll Call podcast. We are coming live from LEPD Firearm and Range on Morse Road.
Bethel
Here in
Road.
Bethel Road.
Listen, I had a long, I
What
had a
time
long
did you get
night.
to sleep last night?
Let's not
Shannon?
talk about that. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Until next time.
Thank you.
You drove to the right place.
You said
That's all that
Morse
matters.
Road.
That's all that matters.